Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth round of the League Zero Super Formula Series here on iRacing. It is time for our second trip to Japan this season. We took on the Okayama International Circuit in the middle of June to start off our season, and 4 weeks later we return to the Far East for Fuji International Speedway, our fourth round of the championship, before we take our first trip to America next week in our season. It is myself, Ewan and Dean Biggles alongside me this time round for this round of the championship, and it's Super Formula racing at a circuit which suits these cars so well. A huge front straight and a big chance to overtake down in towards turn one. Some great technical corners in between times as well. We're set up very, very nicely with this combination here tonight.
My apologies on that one, my friend. Good evening and welcome everybody. I had standings up here. There it is. Currently, the standings so far after 3 rounds, because we're on the fourth round here this evening.
Yeah, 6 races, 3 rounds, and Noddy ML is leading the way by 44 points over reigning champion Jaden Calloway. In fact, reigning champion of the last 2 seasons in a row. He is coming under serious threat this time round. Antonio Bianchi rounds out the top 3 with Adam Merchant staying in 4th after round 3. Fabian Sanchez just demoted to 5th position. We were speaking actually before we came to air about how close he came last season to winning the title. He's 5th at the moment. Nick Peterson moved up to 6th in the last round. Elliot Court down to 7th, but he hasn't raced at all the races this season so far. Frankie Brzozowski, Gabriel Hopp and Allard van der Hoven are rounding out the top 10. Raymond Aguilar's only been at 2 of the races so far. It's still only 11th, so he's going all right. But it's Noddy ML's season so far, and based on the practice session we saw earlier on, it was looking maybe not like his day, but actually he's moved up to 3rd place in this qualifying session now, and he's looking very, very strong. Helped, of course, as well, as we were commenting before we came to air, that Jaden Calloway is not here today.
Yeah, exactly. The last season's champion, not here to defend some of those 80 points that he has currently at the moment. But he won't go backwards on those 80 points. He just won't go forwards. So it'll be up to Noddy here this evening to take a little bit more of a chunk of change there. He's got that lead, you can see there, of 44 points. That may increase here tonight.
It may well do. If I were to put any money anywhere, I would say that it will do. No Antonio Bianchi either. So Adam Merchant is the closest driver in the championship, who is actually here today. He's 58 points back, though, going into this round, and that's a very long way back in this series. In case you're not seeing it before, the point system does by no means give everybody points for free. You've absolutely got to earn them in this series over the course of 2 races. And as always, we do have another 2 races coming here tonight. The first one will be set by the grid from qualifying, and the second of which, qualifying by the way about 90 seconds from ending, the second of which will have a top 5 reverse grid, so nothing too major. And if you can get yourself up towards the front in that top 5 in race 1, you'll be in the mix in race 2 as well, you would imagine, just based on where everybody is. So, it's a good format, I think, but Noddy ML certainly favourite to go further ahead in this championship, and maybe even quicker on this lap time. Personal best in the middle sector here, despite not going quite as quickly through that first sector this time round. Noddy ML is going to come towards the start finish line and cross the line there. I'm not sure that's any quicker. No, not quite, and it's going to have to be 3rd place at best for our championship leader. Well,
it's at least on the second row there, and depends on how they're going to get the start there, as Merchant seems to have the best time it possibly is. Just having a look at anybody else. We're seeing Elliot Court, Finney out there. Oh, there we go. So Elliot Court just sets the fastest 3rd sector there. Goes up into P2 for the Brit. And now we're going to keep an eye on Matthew Devine, my friend, because he set the fastest 1st sector. Not a personal best in the second, but let's see if he can get that half a second improvement there to try to steal pole.
Yeah, that first sector might well just be bringing this lap time along to a place where it needs to be at the moment. As Devine now brings his way towards the line, he's going to have to improve over 3 attempts to even get a place here, so it might be difficult, but he's got a good lap time, and it's not quite quick enough. It's a personal best improvement, but it is not enough to increase any positions, and he just got that in, didn't he?
Yes.
Before the checkered flag waved.
Ooh.
There was only a second or so to spare. I didn't quite realise how close it was, but he does get that improvement. In the end, it wouldn't have mattered either way because he will be 5th. Let's have a look, though, at the starting grid, ready for the first race of the day, and it's Adam Merchant who's going to be on the pole ahead of Elliott Cut, with Finlay Fitzsimmons in 3rd, ahead of the championship leader Noddy ML on the outside of row 2. Matthew Devine is on 5th place, ahead of Frankie Brzezowski. The first All-American row is row 3. AJ Brenner and Shade Buffett are next, ahead of Shady Zuhair and Nicholas Isidro. It's Robert Nobles, just outside the top 10, with JJR Williams in 12th. Gareth McAllister is in 13th, ahead of James Turnbull, with Anthony Zeitz and Jace Mayer on row 8. Julian Madore and Bryce Benton are on row 9, and Gumalo Paré and Arturo Mayorga. Austin Thomas, Leo Domar and Xavier Senav are rounding out the 23 drivers in the field. It's a nicely formed field. I think it feels about the right size to me for a Super Formula race. You know, if we had 43, 53, it feels like too many to me.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
23 is exactly the kind of field you'd see around this circuit in real life.
Well, trust me, my friend, if you saw some of those races last season as well, too, they can get in, they'll get a bit of door banging going on between them as well, too. But we'll see how it pans out here this evening. And, well, the only driver, I'd have to say, of course, the Australian driver there off Gareth, is the only one in some sort of regular nice times, I'd say, because it's about getting close to midday for us in Australia. I guess not too bad there over in the US of A, about 9 p.m. But I feel for you guys over there in Europe, mate. There's a couple of the French people and the UK drivers that are there. It's up fair. You guys are getting up about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the UK at the moment. Be 3 o'clock in France, if indeed those two are in France. They may be from France, but well, that might not be where they're located right now. And I think for Noddy ML, it might be 4 in the morning. I think it's even worse, if indeed, again, he is in Nigeria, as the flag says. But let's see. 10 laps ready then for this first race at Fuji. And the lights come on, with Adam Merchant on the pole, off to a good launch immediately as the lights go out, and the two Brits next in line can't go anywhere. Noddy ML gets a good launch actually from 4th place, down in towards turn 1 for the first time. Merchant with a clear lead, although he outbrakes himself. Elliott Cook gets alongside briefly, but Noddy ML just follows along as well. Merchant should keep the place, but they are still side by side, down into turn 3, and he gets it. Then Adam Merchant does lead ahead of Elliott Cook, and then it is Noddy ML in 3rd position. Fitzsimmons at 4th, followed by AJ Brenner. And it's a clean start for the leaders, I'm glad to say, in that big run down in towards turn 1.
Clean start for everybody, I have to say, all pointing in the right direction. So well done to the drivers. So it is a sprint race, remember, on this one. So you tend to see a little bit more shenanigans than what you generally have in a feature race. But then again, it's a dress rehearsal for the feature race coming up. Further back in the field there, the Australian driver of Gareth has dropped a couple of places at the moment. Tangling on line there and battling it out there with Jace Meyer.
Further what you get through the final sector.
Oh, there's contact.
Contact! Elliott Cook goes around. He was placed nicely in the top 5 to begin with here, but his evening is going to be very, very difficult now as he spins off to the side of the circuit through the final corners. I mentioned it was a clean start. Unfortunately, it had to take to the final sector before things started to go wrong. And he might well start to get freight trained here because McAllister is on his left-hand side, coming through as well.
Sorry.
Maybe is Meyer as Amel and Fitzsimmons go side by side for second place. That's Fitzsimmons with his nose in front. Oh, my word! Look at that, AJ Brenner. And as Noddy ML tried to avoid, he hits Fitzsimmons, who spins at turn 1.
Wow. Who just came absolutely flying through, as he said, at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I think they realised you've got to get a brake pedal out there somewhere. This is absolutely super exciting. We'll see if we can go back and have a look at some of those replays soon if this calms down. But I don't think it's going to calm down anytime soon. I'm just looking at that livery as well, too, thinking it almost looked like the F1 movie car livery that Brad Pitt was driving.
I haven't seen the F1 movie, so I can't give
you
any comment
anyway,
on that,
that's
unfortunately.
okay. Yeah.
I don't like sports films in movies, really, because they always do it really badly. So the lack of realism annoys me, but that's probably me. Oh dear, this is a mess down into the hairpin. Look at this. 2 cars off in the grass. There's a spinning car through there, cutting the lawn by the looks of it. That looked like it was Austin Thomas, actually, in the grass. And he gets himself out the other side, drops to 22nd, though. And Fitzsimmons down back on pit lane, by the way. So Thomas now the last running driver. Oh, and there's a spun car in front. Thankfully, everybody avoids. JJR Williams it is who spun through the penultimate corner. And look at this, it's all action so far. Profit versus Brenner now on the front straight. AJ Brenner looking to regain some of those places he lost.
What an exciting race at the moment, because further up the field too, you've also got another overtake happening. And if drivers are aware, you got to hit that stop pedal at some point, breaking into those turns down the end of the hairpin. Otherwise, you're going to see people going flying like we saw before. But Noddy is up into P2 at the moment, taking advantage of this situation. But he did have that contact before with Elliott Court. So we'll have to check out what happened. Oh, we got Jace Morrow around too, behind the tree somewhere, mate. Definitely behind the trees. I can't find him. There he is. And that's wheels snapped. Yep.
He's a long way off the circuit down there. Is that turn 3? It's so far off, I can't even tell where it is, really.
Tiny behind the trees.
We'll have a look back.
Can't get an angle of him.
Yeah. We'll have a look back at some stuff in a moment. But, yeah, this has been frantic so far. Hard to believe we're already a third through this race nearly. Oh, and more contact! And another car with broken suspension down at the hairpin. This time it's a Toro Mallorca who's got no rear left tyre.
Absolute shit. I was about to say they were taking it easy in the first lap or so there, Ewan, but now I think they've just thrown all that out the window and just said, let's go motor racing. Like, oh well, let's go WWE wrestling at this point. The amount of contact these drivers are coming.
They absolutely are. This is down in towards turn 1 and the push to pass being used. Got to brake early though when you're on the push to pass, of course. Zuhair on the inside line. It is Avisadro who's gone through that load of gravel that's been brought onto the circuit by somebody down there at turn 1 after getting spun round. But Zuhair gets into the top 5. That's, of course, the all-important place. If you finish P5 in race 1, you'll be on the pole for race 2, of course.
Overtakes absolutely everywhere. All these Japanese fans will be loving it, of course, in the home place of the Super Formulas too, my friend. So, the birthplace, shall I say?
Is it the birthplace of Super Formula, Fuji?
Oh, well, I mean, Japan.
Right, yeah, Japan.
Yeah, Japan,
is, yeah.
Just in general, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, you're right on that front. And as I said earlier, we have got a couple of Japanese circuits on the calendar, as you would expect, for this series. Don't have too many in iRacing, to be honest. Would be nice to get a couple of others, but Suzuka, the only one missing. Oh, wow, what a save! AJ Brenner there stepped on the loud pedal too fiercely out of turn 15, and he's very lucky not to go, well, say lucky, skillful. And there again, wow, out the final corner, he snaps it as well.
Looks like Xavier's gone bang. Damage as well, too, for the French driver here this evening. That's a bit of carnage. AJ Brenner now. Robert Nobles, the 4th. Down the main straightaway into turn 1. This is why we love this track, my friend. Such a slow hairpin corner. You expect to see overtakes, and you will get overtakes.
There certainly is. Here comes Brenner, outside line, into turn 3. And no, if he kept it there, he could have the inside the next corner. It's not a hugely important thing in this car. You've got so much downforce, you can hang it out round the outside, as he's showing. AJ Brenner, what a run round the outside through 4 and 5 that was. And he gets to the inside at turn 6 to win his 8th place back again. And now Turnbull is going to fancy his chances as well, as Nobles has just got to knock back his momentum just for a moment here. Down in towards the hairpin at turn 10. And no chance through this time round. Maybe there's a couple, if you've got any replays you want to have a look at, maybe there's a quick chance for us to do so. Now we're finally maybe calming down.
Yeah, we'll see if we get the right count. This is Elliott, and this is where they get into each other here.
Wow.
That was the battle for P2 at the time. Yep, that was Noddy in there.
Wow.
This is Finley, Fitzsimmons. I know you can imagine this turn 1 shenanigans, my friend. But look at it behind.
So this...
It just comes through. I'm surprised. Just a little clip there of the wing there from Fitzy. And then who was that driver that just didn't even brake?
It's Brenner. It was AJ Brenner. And that's why all the gravel, by the way, you will have noticed through turn 1, all the gravel there was brought on by him. He's just got way too late on the brakes there. Fitzsimmons didn't really see it coming because Noddy ML was sort of in his blind spot, if you like. So Brenner was protected, and Brenner does a good job actually to avoid hitting them, but Noddy ML can't turn in quite as early because he's Brenner's down the inside, and that means he just clips Fitzsimmons, who goes into a spin, which is unfortunate for him. We saw JJR Williams get miraculously avoided by everybody. This is a big dive down the inside, and he spins as a result. Too fast, smoke screen, Thankfully, everybody just about avoids, and good job from everyone for doing that as well. Bouncing over the curbs. Look at this. Oh, dear. It's like a slalom course. They all manage it, though.
More contact here.
Yeah, this is...
You can imagine it's...
Harry and Mayorga.
There.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Bit of netcode there.
Yeah, who was it that he hit? Is it...
Mayorga.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Arturo Mayorga. But as far as I could see on my screen there was no contact, really. It was just a bit of netcode, which is a big shame for them. This is Anthony Zaich defending, and look at that, weaving around. Oh, my word. That's a bit ridiculous. And loss of front wing. Zaich has to come to a complete stop there. That was all happening there at turn 1. Meanwhile, live pictures, not too much has been going on, to be honest. We've still got Adam Merchant leading the way, ahead of Noddy ML by 3 seconds. Frankie Brzezowski has got third place, although Matthew Devine and Sergi Suhair are not that far behind. James Turnbull is the closest to making a move, though, on Robert Noble, so you can just see up in front here for 9th place, and we're following that one now as we loom on just 3 laps remaining at the end of this one.
And look at the retirements. We have at least 5 sitting down there in pit lane already. When you can see with those damaged cars, they're going to sit this one out for a couple more laps to go. 4 laps to be precise here of our heat race. And I wonder if those memories are going to be fresh of these drivers after some of those incidents already there. Got to remember to take it a little bit more easy, get the temperature up in those tyres and stuff like that too, and hit that brake pedal and hope the car's going to stop. Will be the interesting element to play. And of course with that reverse top 5 too that you mentioned as well too, Ewan.
Yep, absolutely. The top 5 will be turned on its head, ready for race 2, which is about 3 times as long as this race, and does require a pit stop as well, by the way, so it's a little bit more tactical. And of course you have to be even more strategic with your push to pass as well, which is not spoken too much of in this race, because effectively it's just jam it on as much as possible, really. When the cool down is finished, then go for it again on the front straight, I think is the strategy. But you'll have to be a bit more frugal with it in the second race. That is Elliot Cook looking down the inside of McAllister, down in towards turn 1. Don't forget, Elliot Cook is trying to regain these places that he lost so many of in the early part of this race. And he's not quite been able to get past the Australian just yet. He's stuck in 12th place for the moment. Trying to get into 11th. He has a look. Can't do it. And this is Leo Delmar in the background just watching on. And he's going to get a better run, actually. Looking to gain his 10th position, by the way, Delmar, who started from the back of the field.
Yeah, making some fantastic gains here for the French driver. Going to be almost side by side. Last of the late breakers. Elliot's on the inside line there, which comes back and Crutz in front. If anything, got to be careful there with Anthony just behind him now as well too. So that's a nice little fight that you can see on your screens going all the way down from AJ Brenner actually in P8.
Court just smashed that curb, by the way. The anti-cut curves here through the final sector are very, very vicious and perpendicular to the road as well. When we had there's 2 of them. When we did the iRacing special event, actually, at Fuji 8 Hours, I think it was at the end of last year, the race was actually decided by somebody hitting one of those curbs. They're so violent, even for GT cars. You can understand what they're like for these. As AJ Brenner goes down the inside, he does find his braking point this time, and he gets himself past Bruffett. That's what he was hoping to do. Well, he was on the inside of Fitzsimmons and Noddy ML, but he, of course, missed his braking down on that occasion. On this occasion, he's got it absolutely right.
Teammates on teammate battle here. Whoa, you meant about those bounces right there. Did you see that? I mean, these are Super Formula lights, all right? Wow. They bounce, my friend. They can fly. Lucky you got some downforce to keep them on the track.
Yep, the lights might well take off, to be honest. They're, they are a lot lighter than these. These are properly sophisticated machines. If you actually look at the lap record, maybe this is something to get into in the feature race more than now, but I've started this sentence. The Super Formula cars are quicker than LMP1s were round here when the Fuji 6 Hours was a race and the Audi R18 was doing its thing, the Porsche 919. The lap record for a Super Formula set in December 2020 is only 2.9 seconds slower than the lap record of Felipe Massa around this circuit in the Formula 1 Grand Prix of 2008. That is how quick these cars are.
I was going to say, they'll be quicker than a Formula 2 car.
Yeah, comfortably.
Yeah, there you go. So look out, Formula 1. Whoa, look out, Leo as well, too. You almost had the whole rear wing diffuser smashed off there by Anthony, but he wanted to get that slipstream so he get that nice little toe. But did he brake a little bit too early? We'll see side-by-side action coming out of turns 2 and 3. I think that's job done, mate, for now.
Yeah, it looks like it. Look at the light flashing as well at the top of the at the top of their heads there. They are draining the battery now. They know that they don't. Well, yeah, they've got some left and they're using it. James Turnbull there just got on the grass. Really thought he was going to go around in front of this big group that you were describing earlier on. It is still a large group heading towards the line here. McAllister down into the hairpins, not close enough. They're all on the button and just draining the battery, as you can see here with Adam Merchant as well. Although he doesn't necessarily need to. He is just driving away with the race win. Nevertheless, it's going to be Adam Merchant to take victory here in the first race at Fuji. It's his second race win of the season. He's actually the closest to Noddy ML on points of those who have attended here tonight. And he will have closed the margin as well. It's the fastest lap of the race to end the race as the personal best will start to come through at the end. And what about the battles of the lower part of the top 10? There's a spin. Bruffett is going to lose that top 10 after running in there for the latter part of the race. That is a real shame for him to lose it so late. And there's a drag race to the line. Nobles just about beats Turnbull in a photo finish there for 8th place.
Yeah, a couple of drivers just smashing those cars in. Wow. So I'll have a look at what happened here, my friend, as you went in that last little bit of action.
How did he manage this? Oh, he gets caught on the inside, tries to get the power down too early. And not only is he on a different line there, by the way, he's got the overtake button on, so it's got a little bit more power at his disposal. And in any case, he might have gone round there anyway on that tight line. So, yeah, spun round. And that was a costly one because of that big group we saw. It meant that everybody was very, very close together indeed when they were passing him on the outside line. Well, with those drivers in pit lane, that does bring the end to the race. And it's Adam Merchant who wins the first race of the day here at Fuji. Noddy ML finishes in second, ahead of Frankie Brzezowski on the podium. Matthew Devine and Sheji Zuhair round out the top 5 of those who will be inverted in race number 2. Nicholas Isidoro was 6th, ahead of AJ Brenner, who recovered from his issues. Robert Nobles beat James Turnbull in that photo finish, ahead of Gareth McAllister in the top 10. Elliot Kurt recovered to 11th after his spin, with Leo Delmar just 1 place further behind. He gained 10 throughout the day after getting past Bruffett to the line. Anthony Zeitz couldn't quite do the same. A few seconds further back for Bryce Benton, with Julian Madore just outside the top 15. Austin Thomas, the last driver on the lead lap. Guillermo Perez was 3 laps down after his incident at the hairpin. JJR Williams had a spin in the final sector, ended up 19th, 5 laps down. Xavier Seneve ended up with most of his rear end gone, and that's why he rounds out the top 20. Arturo Mayorga, Jace Mayer and Finley Fitzsimmons round out the field. Hopefully they will restart in race number 2, which is about 3 times as long and has a little bit more strategy involved in it as well. So, yeah, looking forward to race 2. That was a lively opening race. I mean, for the first 5 laps, we couldn't even get any replays in. It was so lively. Despite lap 1, turn 1 being quite clean, after that, there was a lot more going on.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in from that race because of the action. Of course, the drivers are driving in their own race, so they're not looking at the broadcast and seeing all the other shenanigans and stuff like that are going on. But those drivers that did, unfortunately, have those retirements, those 5 or 6 drivers, they're the ones that would be, obviously, no doubt, studying that tape as they had to sit in their pit garages there and try to get the mechanics to fix their cars, and then they'll be looking at the remainder of the race. And also, you'd be taking some points, wouldn't you? Get your little notepad out there and go, okay, well, this is what has been happening in the heat race, and let's hope it doesn't happen in the feature race, of course. Well, the accidents, that is, Ewan. The overtakes, yes. Of course, you'd be taking a few pages out of the book of how to get the overtakes done properly. Turn 1. It's another thing too, Ewan. It's about defending, isn't it, against the overtake, because you've got your push-to-pass button, essentially. You've got that to burn, but you've got to remember you can use it offensively and you can use it defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to be a lot more economical with it in the second race. I think it's 200 seconds you get. Might have got that wrong. But I think it's 200 seconds, something like that. And so, that sounds, over 3 minutes sounds like a lot. But actually, this is a 40-minute race or so, 45-minute race. And it does run out very quickly. You've got to remember the cool-down timer as well, which I think is 90 seconds or 2 minutes, something like that. I'm sorry. I'm very bad at forgetting details. As you've probably noticed, I probably got both those figures slightly wrong, but I remember the gist of it, just not the exact specifics. So there's a cooldown period as well. You'll notice at their just above their head, you've got the green light. When the green light is showing like that, it's not being deployed. There it is. There's a good vision of it. Not being deployed at the moment. If it's flashing very quickly, it is being deployed. If it's flashing kind of slowly, then I think it's being recharged. And if it goes red, or is it flashing slowly when it's low? And then it definitely goes red when it's out. We know that. But shouldn't be seeing these guys get out. Although, having said that, the long front straight here means that you do actually end up using quite a lot, because that distance from turn 16 down to turn 1 is not only a long time in terms of distance, the distance in terms of seconds is what we're interested in, and you could drain a lot of battery just by using it down one trip down the front straight of this circuit.
That's one absolutely for the chat too, so please chime in. Some of the drivers might actually be chiming into this one as well too. You can give us your 2 bobs worth before you jump into those fantastic quick machines that you'd mentioned before there. Just a tad slower than modern day Formula 1 cars, but certainly a blast, certainly entertaining for us to watch, because we're not drivers up here in the broadcasting booth. But Ewan's broadcasted just about everything, commentated on just about every motor racing there is possible, which is probably the reason Ewan, why it's not fresh in your memory right now, because you probably just come off the back-to-back of 3 or 4 broadcasts earlier. But it's all good, mate. We forgive you.
It's true. I haven't done one of these broadcasts for a couple of weeks, unfortunately. I did the first couple of rounds, but had to miss 2 weeks ago. It wasn't one last week, but 2 weeks ago I had to miss, unfortunately. But yeah, it's not quite fresh in my mind. And even if it was, I would probably forget the exact details anyway, because I'm not very good with that, remembering stuff. So there you go. We'll work it out as we go along. But very helpfully in iRacing these days, there were days gone by when I used to watch iRacing, and the only thing that was displayed on the dash was the car in reverse gear and doing nothing, even if it was driving, because you couldn't see somebody else's inputs through the dashboard in iRacing back in the day. Thankfully, these days you can see everything, including gears, and including, importantly for us, the amount of push-to-pass seconds they have remaining, which is what we'll be interested in when we're riding on board, as I'm sure we will do over the course of this second and last race of the day. So the drivers are now pulling onto the grid. I will let it scroll through on the screen. I won't read it out in its entirety because the grid is effectively the same. But what you need to know, it's changed. Sergi Zuhair is on pole, and Matthew Devine alongside, Frankie Brzezowski and Noddy Mel on row 2. Adam Merchant starts from 5th after winning race 1. Everybody else is the same. It's just a top 5 invert in this field. So there they all are, right the way down to 23rd, and Finley Fitzsimmons, who is going to restart. Everybody, including those multiple drivers, actually, who had problems. I think it was 7 drivers who actually didn't finish the race or finish laps down. They are all returning. So 23 in race 2, despite the issues they may have had. Although there is a gap where Bryce Benton should be in the field. He is in 15th, and that's why you can see that gap on the right-hand side. The green flag is going to wave, though, and 22 drivers will indeed get underway. It's going to be Zuhair trying to hold on to that lead, but a big move to the inside, looking to switch from the one side to the other for Merchant. From 5th to 1st, almost in one corner. He's into 2nd, and he's looking for the lead into turn 3 already here. He won the first race, and he's taken the lead in the 2nd on lap 1. Noddy Amel comes through as well. He's steaming into turn 4 and 5. He's looking to give chase right now on the outside, which will give him the inside at turn 6, which might be the place to be. There he goes, inside line. He's up into 2nd. The top 2 from race 1 are already the top 2 in race 2 again.
How impressive was that from a race start for those drivers? 4 positions gained, 2 positions gained. Wow, getting it done early. And they just know that, don't they? I think at the moment. They want to get out of that carnage that's behind them right now. And you see a bit of 2-way action and 3-way action. And that's Arturo, I think, going completely straight off into the kiddie fence, actually. There's no kiddie litter out there, mate.
No. That's straight down towards the fence. Contact again. McAllister shoved wide by Austin Thomas for 15th place. There's all sorts going on lap 1, and again, it's not really down towards turn 1 where the action is. It's up in this final sector again. There's a switchback from Isidro, who's going to get through on the inside line there at the final corner in that drag race. Got to be careful with that. Cutting across a bit early. Wants to get the slipstream, I understand that, but yeah, he can't do it at the expense of somebody else, otherwise you'll find yourself both in the wall at the end of the opening lap. The top 6, though, are all in one long line and battling away just like these two are. It's another lively start through the final sector, but clean through the first corner, which was very good to see.
We're going to see a repeat so far. A little bit of damage. You can say, actually, we caught most of that action, believe it or not, live, so we don't have to be sitting back looking at replays for a little bit. We can still keep an eye on this live entertainment here and still keep an eye on these fantastic battles between Divine there and AJ Brenner. As you can see in the pictures there,
yes,
5th and 6th, Ewan.
Yeah, that's Divine still in the top 5 where he started. But Brenner's trying to take that off him at the moment. Elliot Cook next in line as well. Don't forget he qualified up towards the front, but spun early in race 1, which has really disrupted his evening. There is side by side Bezait and Williams. Oh, it's contact. That's JTR Williams going for a spin in the final sector for the second race in a row.
And Anthony as well too, having a little bit of an off-track excursion. But this time around, my friend, don't think they'll be parking it unless there's severe damage. Got to get back out there. It's a long race.
Well, yeah, but that is true. And there are more points available as well, more encouragement to stay in the game. But yeah, it could be difficult to do that with the damage that Anthony Zeitz has got by the looks of things, and Bruffett as well. Zeitz looks like he might well have pulled the plug. That might be it. Bryce Benton, indeed, has not appeared for race number 2. Anthony Zeitz has indeed gone, so he will disappear from the left-hand side. And that's the end of him tonight. Unfortunate, really. For Zeitz, it was that contact with JGR Williams that seemed to ruin his front left suspension, and that would have taken a long time to get repaired. He would have dropped many, many laps, so he drops out of the field, unfortunately. And, yeah, only 20 cars get themselves to the end of lap 2 unscathed.
Here comes Fitzsimmons, my friend. Some contact before. There's going to be alongside with Nicholas, who's still looking for a team. Right there in the Benetton-esque livery.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a nod to Benetton or whether that's just to say I'm putting every colour on my car just so that you know that I'm not affiliated to any team at all. Don't know.
There you go. Never thought of that. The United Colours of looking for team.
well, normally in real sports, I'm not suggesting sim racing is not a real sport, but anyway, you just go all black all over, wouldn't you, or all white all over, whatever, if you're wearing a jersey or if you're wearing if you're in a car like this, you just like blank, completely blank, leave carbon on it if you like, unpainted.
Like the Braun GP.
Maybe you're right.
Remember when they had that white car and before they put a couple of logos, as we're seeing, a couple of swimming all over the place. Left, right, left, right, up, down, hopefully not. It's not the Konami code or cheat codes that you used to put in for the consoles. It's a battle you see on your pictures there between Elliot Court and AJ Brenner. We've seen that a few times. We've heard that a few times in seasons past.
Cut through into 6th place. So he's on the way up. That's McAllister being overtaken by Seneve there in the 14th place. So that's a good pass in towards turn 3. This is further up the field where Frankie Brzezowski is trying to get past Zuhair, who qualified on or rather started on pole here for this one. Breaks quite late into the hairpin. Brzezowski can't work his way all around the outside of there.
We're going to bring these drivers into the clutches right now. Elliot is up. Elliot Court's up 5 positions in that P6 place right now. AJ's right where he started this one. Currently in the moment P7. And he's on the Sargent train for the Canadian driver for the Arrive and Drive Racing. And then you're going to forget about like Noddy and Adam Merchant up the road there. Let's see how they're going to tangle a little bit later on until they get close. About 1.2. There it is, in change between first and second.
This is close for 3rd place. All sorts of weaving going on at the moment. Up front, as you can see, the big defence from Zuhair, and you can see it's going all right because obviously he's still got 3rd place, which is where he slipped to coming into turn 3 on lap 1. So he's held there for a while, but the queue starting to form behind him is less good news, and it includes some of those who have come through the field like Elliot Cook, and Fitzsimmons is not that far away here either. Zuhair is very much on the defensive at the moment, and so far it is working towards the end of lap 5. But how long can this go on for? Surely not forever. Brzezowski is going to have another go down in towards the hairpin. Maybe. No, it will stay behind this time as he continues to apply that pressure for 3rd.
Yes, it's going to be wondering to see when they're going to use this push to pass. Really, at the moment, you can see it on top that you're describing for. You can notice that. See who's going to be using it to defend, who's going to be using it to offend. Gareth McAllister did head down into pit road, and it looks like James Turnbull's heading out of pit lane as well too. So if they just getting that over and done with, getting out of the way, get some clean track, my friend, and put some banker laps in and see how it pans out for their race later on. Here you go. So this push to pass being used currently at the moment. There's a bit of weaving between teammates. That's Matthew.
Through and into position for Elliott Court, and feeling Divine very much let that happen. You can see the difference in speed when one driver is using push to pass and the other isn't. There you go, down the inside from Brenner as well. Not sure Divine intended to lose 2 places on the way down in towards turn 1, but didn't seem to fight it too hard in the end. And Brenner makes a good pass down the inside. Elliott Court's now going to try and do the same as he gets ahead of Brzezowski, but so far that has proven to be difficult as well. That's a better line though through 4 and 5. Now he really applies that pressure down through 6 now and into the next straight. The slipstream here will be in full flow down towards turn 10. Unlikely to use any push to pass down here until you're on the last lap, because you're at the very slow speed final sector to come next, where the push to pass really isn't very much use at all.
Well, you'll see on the steering wheel if they use it, but wow, you can really send it from downtown, can't you, into that first corner. You can see last and late braking between drivers. It can catch you off guard, especially if you're in the hot pit seat right now here, for example, of Elliott. He's so focused up the road there, focused on hitting your braking point, that you probably wouldn't even check your mirrors to see who's behind you coming at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to see what's coming. And now then, will he use that push to pass maybe? It looks like Brzezowski is just in front of us here as we come down towards turn number 1. Is there going to be a chance? Maybe. He is on the push to pass, and there he goes down in towards turn 1. No defence offered from Zuhair here. He can't use the push to pass all the time. And now in towards turn 1, he's finally going to have the chance here. Brzezowski on the outside. Now it turns into a proper battle between the two. Neither of them on the button. They are just racing, pure and simple, into turn 3, side by side. Here comes Cook through as there's contact for Zuhair on the outside. He tries to take them both. He won't be able to do them both in one go, though. In fact, he will only just follow through on Zuhair, who slips into 5th.
I get a feeling this is not over yet, isn't it, between any of these gladiators out here this evening? Or perhaps to be appropriately, because we're in Japan, we'll call them samurais.
Undo. Down in towards turn 10. And look at them queuing up here. Brenner just in front, trying to get past Zuhair. Fitzsimmons is now in the group. And Isidro and Delmar might not be that far away as well. But we'll see how this group changes now, because Zuhair not at the front of it anymore. It's allowed Elliott Court and Frankie Brzezowski to immediately get away. And that cork in the bottle has been released.
Now, you kind of a sitting target being one at the lead, isn't it? Because everybody's getting that nice slipstream from you. Certainly down this massive, long back or front straight, the main straight. That's why they're weaving all over the place. It's like IndyCar, isn't it? They're just trying to break that massive slipstream that you get. And they use a little bit of push to pass used for defensive as well, too.
Down the inside for Court, though. Is that too late? Oh, it might be. Just locks up the inside tyre. And that's going to allow Brzezowski on a run on the exit here, maybe, as we approach 1/4 distance already in this race. Outside line for Brzezowski. He's not going to go all the way around there. Next in line, Brenner, Devine and Fitzsimmons. All 5, 6 and 7. They catch back up again as Zuhair pulls into the pit lane. Unsurprising, he wants out of this. Down the inside. Now, what position was that? Was that Brenner going down the inside of Brzezowski? It was.
Yes.
Into turn 6, and now they're side by side off the other side of the corner. That was very ambitious from Brenner, but he's made it work for 4th place.
This is fantastic wheel-to-wheel action between these drivers. I hope it continues this way, but you got a sneaking suspicion that the more that they risk it for the biscuit with this driving, there's more chance of getting contact, which is exactly why you're starting to see some of the drivers peel off in the pit lane. Maybe a clever strategy at that point to get out of it. Just don't want to risk the fact of coming off the track somewhere. Yeah,
it's luckily a circuit where you can run maybe a bit on the tarmac or whatever, but you want to avoid it if possible. Fitzsimmons is going to get the slipstream as well there from Brzezowski in front, which is very nice of him. And that is an illegal pit entry, I would say, from Devine. He pulled from the left. He saw what was developing in front of him and said, actually, I'll come to the pit lane, actually. And I would describe that as an illegal pit entry, but there you go. Down the inside for Brzezowski. Pretty aggressive on Brenner, who goes a little bit wide. He'll get an off track for that, but shouldn't be too big of a problem around here. And he stays in front, does Brenner. Stays in that 4th place ahead of Frankie Brzezowski, who's really hovered around this 5th place so far.
Yeah, we got 6 down to basically 2 individual little battles, 3 actually now. You can see Fitzsimmons just in the background there. The other drivers, the other 3 that were battling in this pack, were elected to all go down to that pit lane and just get out of that one, and of course maybe penalised for it under the watchful eyes of Ewan up here in the commentary box. Stuart Ewan.
So, hang on.
Yeah.
So far, top 15 haven't been in yet. Worth saying there's 2 retirements as well. Shea Bruffett and Anthony Dutcher both out of the race now. So only 20 really we're looking at. So 5 of the field have been in so far. This is towards the back end of it where Austin Thomas is. What's he got into down here at the bottom of the hill, down at turn number 10. He's been down towards the back end of those who have not stopped yet. And there you go. Locks up front tyres and the rears and goes around.
Push to pass down the main straightaway, turn 1. Decides to brake a little bit early there for Frankie. Didn't want to risk slamming straight into the biggest gainer of the race so far. Findlay Fitzsimmons, my friend, for the Mustard Seed Racing entrance, 18 places up. He says, thank you very much. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. Started from the back in this race and already in the top 5. A very impressive job in just 10 laps. But how much further can he get in this race? The biggest mover from race 1 was Leo Delmar, who you can see here, in 8th place as things stand. Very much running around with someone on his speed, actually. Just up in front, it's Nicholas Isidro, who is, as I say, right on the speed of Leo Delmar, as we've seen so far in this race. And this battle for 7th will continue. As a result, really, or maybe it's overselling it by calling it a battle. AJ Brenner down the inside. He stays in front of Fitzsimmons, meanwhile, for 4th position. Frankie Brzezowski next involved, looking to earn that top 5 back again. This has been where all the action's been so far. This battle in the lower part of the top 5, it's where all the action's been so far. And now look at the push to pass. Just over 2 minutes of it left here for Brzezowski, who's got a choice to make. He swoops all the way to the left-hand side. He's the only one on the button, and he's going to swoop past them both as a result. The extra horsepower down in towards turn number 1. It's going to get in the place, or will it? There's contact! Oh, one of them goes around. It's Simmons again. Fitzsimmons into turn 1 has spun around for the 2nd time tonight.
Kind of knew that was going to be brewing up at this at the moment, isn't it? It's 3 into 1. Didn't quite work that time around. Yeah, you can just come from up. The slipstream is just so mighty and powerful, isn't it? It's just like you've just given yourself an extra 100 kilowatts of power once you get in there. But of course, once you get to approaching that turn 1 pretty drastically, you have to remember who's going to be bold and brave on the last on the stop pedal.
Absolutely. That is a real shame for Fitzsimmons, who drops back very suddenly. His teammate is under pressure from Chase Meyer. That's Nobles just in front. Meyer around the outside. Very late on the brakes. And will keep 9th, or get 9th rather. So Meyer does a good job there to get into the top 10 ahead of Nobles. And Fitzsimmons doesn't quite jump back into this part of the field with them, which is good news for him. He can start to rebuild his race a little bit now as we get to 1/3 distance in this one. There's the pass of 3 wide. It was a good move from Brzezowski, but yeah, Fitzsimmons found himself in an awkward place there of 3 wide. Just made a little bit of contact there on the inside.
Yeah, you're putting just too much faith, I think, in drivers on the left and to the right, isn't it? Because the car's going to move with the lateral movement, of course, into the braking zone. It'll slide a little bit. And you're just hoping that none of that happens when you're in the middle. And of course, that's the risk you take. But sometimes you can get rewarded by it. Other times, you don't.
And he certainly wasn't that time round. That is for sure. A real shame for Fitzsimmons, who's been pretty unlucky here tonight. Fitzsimmons currently in the championship, by the way. Finlay Fitzsimmons only 21st because only appeared in one of the rounds so far. Only scored 7 points in that round as well. Won't be scoring many from this round either. So it's been a difficult season despite the good pace. This is much further down the field. Devine and Mayorga. And Matthew Devine has already been into pit lane. So unlikely that these two will fight too much. And Natara Mayorga is just going to give him that place. Unsurprisingly, there's no point in these two actually fighting.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, the pit stops. And you got to go down to P15 at the moment currently, the Canadian driver. He's first of the drivers that have made their scheduled pit stop over and done with. And then, of course, the other 14 drivers ahead of him yet to make a pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of stops still to come, but we're not yet at halfway, which makes sense. Leo Domat down the inside of Isidro, meanwhile, on the brakes and should be through at turn 1. Is through as well. Well, is he? Yes, he is. Surely before turn 3. And there you go. So another pass for Leo Domat today. He's been making quite a few of those. And now we will hope to maybe run away with this position because, as I mentioned, these two have been racing pretty much all day so far. At least all race in this one through the opening 12 laps. And now they are, Leo Domat at least, is going to look to pull away here because, they've got Fitzsimmons behind. If he can get away before Fitzsimmons gets there, might just help Leo Domat keep an extra place in this race. We will wait and see, but he's doing a good job so far of getting himself away.
Just having a look at what happened to Chase Meyer. A little lock-up, isn't it, under heavy braking there. Of course, into turn 1, goes around. Flicks it back pretty quickly. Thankfully, no traffic coming around that corner. And this is this tyre model that you got to be careful with, isn't it? Lighten up those rear tyres when they're cold. But gets back up. He's currently running P10. This is the first time we've had a break. 14 laps down, Ewan, and this is the first kind of little break that we have. You can still see this battle close on your screens, but the rest of the field's starting to spread out. That gap that Adam's got there now is up to about 4. You can see it any time it takes about 4.5 seconds. It is to Noddy down the road.
Yeah, you can tell that things are a little bit more spread out here, but we've gone well past the distance of the first race, which just puts into context what a great first race it was here tonight. And surely this is going to be bubbling up for a good finish in race number 2 as well, though Adam Merchant looks pretty unbeatable so far here today. Going to be gaining some vital points back on Noddy ML in our championship this season, which is much longer this time round, by the way. 11 rounds running all the way to the early part of this September, not December, that'll be very late into the year, into the early part of September this season, where we end the season in March. For example, the 2 championships that Jaden Callaway has won in the last 2 seasons have been 8 rounds and 6 rounds, respectively. In fact, you have to go back to season 10 before you can find a season as long as this one. Jaden Callaway winner of the last 2 championships, so it was 8 and 10 rather than 8 and 6. That's a spin back through the final. Who was that?
AJ.
Was that a lapped car, maybe? Oh, it is AJ Brenner. Yeah, he drops down. I couldn't see who was missing, but it's AJ Brenner who spun around through the penultimate corner on the power again. So easy to do, and he's going to blame those wary rear tyres because he's just going to reduce his losses by coming in. There you go. Steps on the power, gets a bit wide, and goes for a spin. He does make contact with the wall as well, although it was light, so he'll get a change of tyres on about halfway.
Yep, there he is in the pit road. There's also Leo Domat went in there as well. So, that brings up a few more players. Look at Finley Fitzsimmons, mate. I call him Fitzy. What a rampaging driver for the number 16, the Brit, in your neck of the woods there. 18 positions up at the moment. Now, granted, of course, we've had a few pit stops there up the road before him, but still, that's literally from the outhouse to the penthouse that he's making his way up. Sub-penthouse.
He is up to the top 5, and don't forget, having had that spin again at turn 1, he had to spin at turn 1 in race 1, which put him all the way down there for this race, and he also had a spin in this one too, so he's really been in the wars today. A couple more retirements to report. That's why people are disappearing off your screen. AJ Brenner's given up the ghost, unfortunately, which is a real shame after that spin. James Turnbull as well retiring here. No fast repair in this series, so when you do get a bit of damage, and because it's an open wheel car, it takes quite a long time to repair, generally people think with a very unlikely prospect of scoring points, generally people do pull into the pit lane and say enough is enough, instead of sitting there and waiting for the very long repairs to be completed.
Chase Meyer comes in. This is around that scheduled half-distance pit stops that we're expecting from most of the field. And I wanted to just quickly elaborate on that one. Let's show the gap, of course, to the leaders down to the rest of the field. And we're expecting overall pit stops. As you're seeing this nice little battle brewing here between our Argentine driver as well as JJ from the United States of America. Anyway, put it that way, for the Americas, the drivers in the Americas are battling. From the Americas, not in the Americas. We're in the Pacific. Land of the rising
Asia?
sun.
Yeah.
Land of the rising sun, my friend, yes.
Yeah. Is it still called the Pacific all the way up in Japan, or is it different? I know it is in Australia. That's Pacific.
We all share the Pacific, yes.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess. Okay, it's a long way away from me. You can understand.
We got the Atlantic Ocean.
I don't know how long it takes.
Yeah.
To get there. There's a whole continent between me and that part of the world, so that is a long way away. I think you probably have to get 2 flights, don't you? There's probably no.
Oh yeah,
you can't get a direct.
So 46 seconds generally stationary for a pit stop. Nicholas comes in, and you can see the gap from Merchant down. Now I'm just keeping my eyes peeled. So Sajar is the first, remember, that's taken a pit stop, and he's a minute and change. So that should be no problems whatsoever for Adam Merchant to come back out there and resume P1, pending there's no mistakes in the pit lane.
Yes. So Isidro and Nobles complete their pit stops. 6.9 for Isidro, the quickest so far, actually. And a little bit longer for Nobles, a lot longer, in fact. We've seen 11 seconds at maximum. That was nearly 11 seconds there for Robert Nobles, so he will lose a couple of places as a result of that. But he pits pretty much exactly on... In fact, he does pit on exactly halfway. All of the other drivers continuing on past halfway, which is kind of surprising. The top 9, who have all not been in yet, and also Arturo Mayorga, who is down in 16th, but has still yet to stop nevertheless.
Speaking of which, there it is. So this is currently a picture of the battle for those drivers that have made those pit stops. And Nicholas come out just ahead of the Canadian driver after he took that pit stop before. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And don't forget about Leo Demar just lurking in the background too. Now he's made his pit stop back on lap 14. So let the battles commence.
Absolutely. 3-4, the 10th position. Seneve makes his way in as well. We'll see a real flurry of pit stops now in the next 5 laps or so, you would imagine. And as you say, they're going to come out right around these guys. This is where the big battle was before the stops, and it's going to resume because they've all been on different parts of the circuit. Look at that, down to the last 90 seconds here for Zuhair. But after all, we are in the second half of the race, and he's going to fly past. So Isidro decides to keep something back for a little bit later on. Zuhair is really draining that battery at the moment. Only just less than a minute 20 remaining now. We're still nearly half the race remaining. Now, late on, Delmat also activates it, looking for the runoff of turn 1 maybe, to try and get back past Zuhair, who is going to get a decent exit, Isidro rather, a good exit, but you're not going to go anywhere with it down to turn 3.
Yeah, this is a crucial part of the times where they're going to keep an eye on how much are they going to have left for that time-wise that they're pushed to pass, because you're halfway through this race, just over halfway through the race now, 14 laps to go. You run out of that boost, mate. You might be under a bit of strife defending into turn 1, or of course they're trying to make an overtake in the turn 1. Elliot Court's in too.
He is, yep. Elliot Court from the top 3 in this race so far. Adam Merchant and Noddy ML still untouchable 1 and 2, although Merchant gaining positions and gaining points right now as well on Noddy ML here today. He's got over 50 of them to gain, so got a long way to go, but Elliot Court now brings himself out onto the circuit after his stop. And where is he going to be in relation to those who have stopped already? He's going to be ahead of all of them, as you would expect. So should be P3 when it all shakes out for Elliot Court.
Yeah, but just ahead of Austin Thomas right here. The turn 1s and armies. Oh, don't be saying that too loud in Japan. And then this bunch here. I'm just waiting to see the rest of those pit stops that's going to pan out. So, if Elliot came out with a bit of a gap to this battle group, that'll be interesting to see how the rest of the field are going to come back out, isn't it? So, I think the Argentine might be coming pretty close to him as well. Actually, we'll kind of do a little bit of quick math to try to figure it all out, mate, as we got the calm before the storm part of the race.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to figure it all out at the moment. We've got a very long pit lane here, so it is actually a big time loss because it is such a long front straight. They could actually fit a lot more pit garages on, couldn't they, if they just extended it the whole way down the straight, brought it a bit closer to the final corner, whatever. They have 1 million cars, although they do have not 1 million, but quite close to 1 million in the 24-hour race. I don't know if you've ever seen it, the 24-hour race around this circuit. It's my
you
kind
mean
of race, to be
iRacing?
honest with you. Oh no, not in iRacing,
no.
in real life.
Real life, have
In
close
real
to 1 million cars.
I'm joking, obviously. There
gonna
is
say-
there is a lot.
Stop spinning my yarn.
There is a
I
lot.
was going to say you can fit that'd be like out into the out into the car park and all that sort of stuff at this point. But here we go again. Both using push to pass. No.
Not on this occasion. Just the flashing light of Delmat into turn 1 and gets in front, stays in front in 10th place ahead of Isidore. I said earlier on that these two were evenly matched. I didn't realise they were quite so evenly matched. Oh, I didn't quite catch the number there as it was flashing by. He's using it a little bit strangely, Delmat. He seems to be using it between turn 1 and 2 a little bit more often than anywhere else, which I find a little bit odd.
Oh, might happen something up the road here too. Looks like the Argentine it might have gone off. Oh, he's back on. Just having a look at that as Fitzsimmons does head into pit road while we look at the replay here. I think this is just a little off-track excursion. Oh, it just hits that chicane, doesn't it? Has to run off into the kitty litter safely and has a half spin for good measure. I think he should be probably heading the pit lane anyway
Absolutely.
in a second because it was scheduled to go down. I'm trying to find a camera angle here so we can actually see the cars in pit road. There he is. Says Fitzsimmons. JJ's in as well.
Probably the best idea at this stage. The tyres have got to be getting old now. Yeah, so who's going to get in front of those who have stopped so far? Fitzsimmons gets out, but not many of those who have already stopped will get past. Zuhair gets past JJR Williams. He's going to drop to the back of this, but Fitzsimmons just about squeezes in front. Also of Austin Thomas, although Thomas hasn't been into pit lane yet.
Oh!
Zuhair not quite close enough to get ahead. Oh, Fitzsimmons has got turn 1 and 2 have been his nemesis here this afternoon, and he's gone for another spin through there, this time on the cold tyres coming out of pit lane.
That's exactly what we're talking about in the new tyre model they have here in iRacing, how easy it is to just lose control out of pit lane. It's a common occurrence that's starting to happen now. Drivers have to get used to getting that temperature in, though. Tyre blanket warmers to keep those tyres up to temperature. You've got to build them up to temperature. Race leader's in. Frankie's in as well. Noddy will stay actually take first couple of laps leading this race, but he'll have to make a pit stop soon as we're seeing this battle. JJ did not want to come out in this traffic, didn't he? His pit stop. If he was just a couple of seconds early, he would have been ahead of them.
Yeah, that is very disappointing for Fitzsimmons, especially out of all that pit stop cycle. But yeah, JJR Williams here is in a bit of traffic as well. Fastest lap overall, actually, from Elliott Cut, and he's gone again. Oh, it's Noble, sorry, it's his teammate. It's a terrible moment for the team as he crashes into the wall, and now there's bodywork bouncing down the circuit there for Nobles. This is the group, though, headed by Isidro again. Austin Thomas has been swept up by this. Delmar and Devine are now involved as well. There's weaving around, there's defending. Too late on the brakes from Delmar. He's driven so well so far tonight, so considered, but that was too late on the brakes, too wide through turn 1.
I did say it was going to be the calm before the storm before, wasn't it? After those pit stops sorted themselves out, and that's exactly the situation you're seeing in your pictures. There's two fantastic battles down there, 12th and 13th, and you can see the huge big battles brewing here on your screen here for 7th, 8th, 9th. Oh. Where do you go, gentlemen? They don't want it to kind of calm down, do they? They don't want to see this 1 second plus gap, because then you start losing that slipstream. You want to keep it nice and close. And tight wheel-to-wheel racing is what we like to see.
That was tight again down in towards the chicanes, and Austin Thomas here still not having stopped, is just trying to just keep going really, defend some of these positions that he's got for the moment. Devine going to go through. Now Demar's going to try and do the same as well. Got to be careful. Bit of a slide there from Thomas, who very easily could have ended up into the side of the Frenchman but didn't. And now Leo Demar is through. Next in line, Devine just up in front as well, in 7th position. So this is the battle for the highest place in the field all of a sudden again.
Yeah, Linamar, Austin Thomas goes in, actually. Believe it or not, he was fighting with the... Oh, he's now fighting with the pit lane entrance. Did that have a bit of damage in there or just a little bit of a slight of a lock-up? But it's quite hard to see. Yeah. But he'll finally get that done. And there's one more driver out there that the team are urgently waiting for to come down a pit road at some point. This man, Noddy, who's burning currently that push to pass. He's not defending against anybody because Adam Merchant's 30-something seconds down the road. He's trying to put hot laps in and maybe try to jump him.
Yeah, exactly that. He's trying to jump him here with the overcut. That's the personal best, 22.2. Although it's 3 tenths slower than Elliot Cut's time on the new tyres at the moment. Adam Merchant is about to complete his first flying lap, I think. Sorry, I was looking away at the timing screen, didn't catch the number there, but Noddy ML must be racking through the seconds now, and he must be in this time round as well because he's turned it off now. So he must be coming in at the end of this lap, or indeed concerned about the amount he's got remaining. 8 laps to go seems a sensible point to come into the pit lane, really. As over the line goes Merchant, he actually goes quicker than Noddy ML that time round, so the overcut not really working at the moment.
Depends how many of those extra laps that he did before then they're going to be the key, because look at the gap, it's only 31.6. Even though we do know that those pit stop times are telling us overall about 40, but it never really works out too well like that in the stats, at least that we get here in the timing tower. May be close. Sometimes you say it's going to be ridiculously close, and of course those pit stops happen, and then you're like, well, kind of what happened. They're really good at working that strategy out, my friend in iRacing. But you know what? Who's going to tell us right now, any second, whether this has paid off? This man coming into pit road.
Yep, certainly will. As Noddy ML comes to pit lane, it is going to be at second place, you'd think, and Adam Merchant's lead, but you just never know. Merchant in pit lane spent 6.7 seconds. That's the shortest pit stop time we can see inside the top 9. That is a pretty quick time, but what about Noddy ML? Can he go even quicker, maybe, to try and jump him? Merchant already coming down the pit straight here and in towards turn number 1. Surely that means only one thing, that he will be in front by the time they're into turn 1. It does. ML comes out the pit lane. It's 6.5 from him. It's the quick. He now takes that over, actually. That's the quickest pit stop of absolutely everybody. Never mind just in the top 9, but he's still 4 seconds adrift.
And Elliot just comes across the line, set the fastest lap there. He probably was trying to push quite a bit there to see if he could possibly jump Noddy, but it's not quite enough. But now he's got the remaining 8 laps to try to do anything he possibly can. Noddy's got the remaining 8 laps to get that 4.5 second gap down to Merchant. We want to get it down to 3 seconds. Go within a second and get that slipstream, and then you're going to be very, very dangerous, of course, down that main straight.
Absolutely. Divine and Delmar again battle, and that's Divine off the road down at turn 1. I'll have to wind back and see how it all happened, but that was odd. Down in towards turn number 1, that's for sure. An odd place to find yourself out wide there. And Divine keeps the, keeps 8th place at least, but not particularly ideal. Let's see how it happened. Down in towards turn 1.
Murphy's gone off.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did he blink or something?
Okay.
Yeah.
He maybe just ran wide. Maybe it was less dramatic than I thought. But
there's
oh no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So he very nearly rear-ended his. There's not really a good way to show that.
See how
here we go in towards turn 1 though.
Oh. Oh no, he didn't hit him. Just locked up.
Yeah, comes steaming in though, and just about avoids the wall and indeed the car. So he'll try and rebuild himself now and try and get back past Delmar again. That's not a very big gap, and it's probably going to be the battle that we follow towards the end here, because with 7 laps to go, there are not too many others out there on the circuit now at this late stage.
And Adam Merchants has put the pedal to the metal, my friend. He's just increased that lead now after those pit stops to 6 seconds over Noddy. So he's happy. He's comfortable. He's quite lonely at the moment too on the track, so he's about to finish up this lap, start another one, and those drivers that are up the road for traffic for him, they'll be about entering in turn 1 by the time he exits the final turn.
And a dominant display from Merchant. Already has taken 1 race win this season, but is about to add another to the list by the looks of things here in round 4. Took the same amount, or most points of anybody, I should say, out of the Red Bull Ring round, where we did see a sprinkling of rain. ODML just losing a few points to him on that particular day, but scoring double what he did 2 weeks ago at Silverstone in the most recent round. And ODML's got a big championship lead. It's going to be a little bit bigger at the end of this because his two closest rivals not here today. Divine and Delman, meanwhile, come into the final corner. That's a bit wide from Leo Delman, who now is going to be under pressure. And look at that, over 2 minutes left for Matthew Divine. He has been very frugal so far with the push to pass, and he's going to unleash it now on the front straight with 6 to go. He's going to be on the button quite a lot, I would suspect, in the last six laps, because he's got a lot of time to burn. There he goes in towards turn 1, now down to 2 minutes. Turns it off, though. He wants to keep it back in case there's something a bit later to try and defend from, and there surely is going to be with Leo Delmar, who's got certainly less seconds on board in behind.
Yeah, I wonder if their engineers out there, their spotters are listening in to try to go, how much have they got there? How much is in there? Are they showing us up there in the broadcast so that they drivers can inform their drivers of, all right, you've got to be really cautious here, you're going to have to save a bit. Yeah, Demar doesn't want to drop too far away from him too. He's going to lose that slipstream. You can see he's about 8 tenths down the road. And you don't want Leo Demar get that slipstream from one of the back markers as well too.
Or is it?
It's not the back marker. It's Nicholas. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not too far away. So 6th place could be on the cards maybe for Divine. Don't forget, he was pretty close to it, Nicholas Isidro, before he actually locked up and half spun down in towards turn number 1. It was a bit of an unfortunate moment, really, because he was certainly on the march, was Divine. Has he left himself enough time to do this? And there he is on the... he's recharging. There's the slow flash of a recharging battery at the moment, or a recharging push-to-pass, I should say, as it were. And so he can't get on the button just yet, but he's got 2 minutes of it to use in the final 5 laps.
Yeah, it's a bit recharging. You're not going to gain the time back, are you? You're not going to give yourself more time. Yeah. No.
I'm not. I know.
So what are you recharging?
I'm trying to find the right.
Yeah.
Trying to find the right word for it, because it's not recharging. You're right, but what is it? Because there's a cooling down period anyway.
Yes.
Maybe that's the right way to describe it. It's not really a recharge.
But look at the pressure he's putting in at the moment. So he's shaved about 4/10 out of Nicholas's time on that last lap. So he is getting it done. Let's see whether or not he will choose to use those goodies that are disposable in his right thumb. Actually, I don't know what button they press on the steering wheel, but he knows which one to press. That's the main thing, as long as Matthew knows.
As long as he's got it assigned, that's absolutely fine. Might be on the... I always like to have that kind of thing on the right thumb. So there you go. Meanwhile...
Yeah, usually it's go slow on your left hand and go and fast on your right.
Exactly. Yeah. Just bobbles. Yeah, pit limiter on the left and whatever it is, push to pass whatever on the right. And there you go. There he is again. So he had 2 minutes, 2 seconds at the beginning. 4 laps to go, by the way, right now, which means there's probably only, 5 minutes 20 left in the race. So he'll be on the button here for a while, and he's going to have big speed. Slipstream, push to pass, he's going to have it all. Down in towards turn 1, maybe everything but the position. Round the outside for Nicholas Isidro, he's going to give him a run for his money off the corner. Now, did he take the button off as he came out the corner? I think he did. As he came into the corner there, I think he disabled it. So what he should have done there probably is just left it on for that run to turn 3, because he would have had the place. But no, he took it off, and now he can't use it again for a couple of laps. And now he goes down to the inside through anyway. He didn't need it in the end. Oh, and very close. Delmar gets involved as well.
Yeah, it's bringing Demar, and guess what? It's bringing Fitzsimmons into play as well, too, just lurking in the background there, the biggest gainer there, 14 places up. So I would expect him to be a part of this party very, very well. He is. So interesting. Now it's going to be part of the push-to-pass parties. Who's got enough here? It could be clever from Divine before, too, my friend. Nicholas, my apologies, not using it. Maybe he saved a little bit there to try to be defensive, but he probably didn't expect Matthew Divine sending it from that far back.
No, likely not. That would have come as a bit of a surprise, but that's what you have when you have push to pass remaining. And what does Fitzsimmons have left here? It certainly looks like Del Mar is using some right now. On the way towards that position in front, that 7th place that he's looking for now on the front straight. He is not actually, he just used a little bit, so maybe out the corner. Fitzsimmons tries to come through as well, but he just backs away, I think. And now he's going to go with it late on the brakes. Nicholas Isro loses 3 places in a matter of a few laps here with only 3 laps to go.
Has Nicholas got none left? He just doesn't seem to have been using any. Couple laps earlier, he was right up there, and now he's been overtaken by 3 drivers, and he hasn't even used any of it. It's not completely empty because you could see up the top it would be red. But what's it? I just don't understand what you'd be saving it for with 3 laps to go now.
Well, with 2 to go, there's 2 minutes 40 left in the race, so I'm not sure what you'd really be saving it for at this stage either, unless, because obviously of the cooling down period, which is and maybe he's really slowing here. I wonder whether he's maybe out of fuel. He's speaking so much about push to pass and this sort of false way of getting energy. Forgot about the basics of motor racing, that you need fuel, and it doesn't look like he's got very much at the moment.
And also what we've forgotten about, but not Elliot Court hasn't, the fact that he's caught Noddy. And the big battle's on currently at the moment. Your pitches for P2, which is probably the closest battle, which we'll stick with this one for a lap or so. They don't have to worry about Adam. If anything, Adam is probably just maybe listening to the broadcaster, wondering who's going to be standing next to him on the podium. But at this point, not quite sure. It's going to be another one of those situations. Who's got the extra tank? See the little purple that's flashing there, as you can see on the steering wheel?
Yeah.
For a second.
That's gone to blue.
Yep.
Yeah. So 1 lap to go. I presume coming out the final corner, Court will put the push to pass on and just leave it till it runs out, because there's no point saving it for the last moments here. The run to the line, you're going to have that cooling off period. You're not going to be able to use it again. Noddy Amel has timed this one correctly as well here. So they're both going to be on the button out the final corner now, and they're going to use it up to the finish. Yep. Oh, over the curbs, and 90 seconds. He's got a lap. He's got a lap here as Court, and Noddy Amel's not using it. Maybe he realises he doesn't have to yet, and he's got to be a little bit more careful with it towards the end here. But Elliot Cook can just use it up, burn it up to the line. He will use it right to the end here, and Noddy Amel's running out here.
Wow.
What is he running out of, though? Is he running out of fuel, maybe? That was extremely slow down the straight, and Noddy Amel loses 2nd place.
That is strange. Exactly. Another time around where we're just seeing drivers go absolutely slow. Nicholas is fighting back now, but on Fitzsimmons. So did he just all of a sudden get something from the team to say, mate, use that push to pass? He's, oh, yeah, forgot about that. Sorry. As Matthew Devine is using that one.
Devine is flying through the field.
Oh, Adam, what's happened to Adam? Elliot's got past Adam.
Oh, my word.
They're out of gas, mate. They're out of gas. Noddy comes through.
No. This is unbelievable stuff. They're all running out. And Noddy Amel's slowing down now as well. What is going on here? What is going on here at the moment? It is unclear what's happening right now. They're all coming to a close, and they're all coming to a stop.
Matthew's still good. Matthew's got pace here. But is there enough time?
But are they even still racing here? I don't understand. Oh, and he spins. Devine spins. Zuhair is going to go through. Is Noddy Amel the race winner here or not? Because he's slowing.
He's got just the final sector.
Is he out of fuel, or is he just driving slow?
No, because look at this. These guys coming through pretty quickly at the background. He got enough pace here. Sargi's up to 2nd. Can he get Noddy in time? Those are back markers coming back through.
Themselves. Yeah. Well, Zuhair looks
there
like
he is.
Yeah, he's got the. There's Amel. It's a really big uphill run here, and Zuhair's going to go through. Now, what a weird end to this race.
Wow.
After 32 laps, Sajid Zuhair is going to come across the line on the circuit to win the race. And he's going to run out of fuel to the line as well, or at least lift off. I have a feeling we're going to hear more about this later on.
Nicholas.
Because this is a very weird end to the race. Zuhair is going to take it on the circuit. Isidro in 2nd. Simmons is 3rd. All of the guys who run up the front of the field there have not finished the race on the circuit. What a bizarre finish here.
Yep. And believe it or not, we could even have the Aussie just steal this one across the line. Maybe not. No, the Argentine will get it. Julian. Plenty of gasoline left there for the Canadian driver. And then I think Jace has got a little bit of the tank there, but Leo's trying to creep it across, mate. He's trying. He's ahead. JJ's there. Now have to get out and push it. Noddy, he's stuck back here, mate. He can't move. Frankie, he's parked it.
Why has this happened? What is going on here? Everybody knew it was a 32-lap race to begin with, and it was like at the start of lap 31, they all realised, oh, actually, I've got to do 2 more laps here, and suddenly I don't have the fuel. Why did they all notice on the last lap that they didn't have enough fuel and all run out? I do not understand what has gone on here.
Well, Adam's chimed in the chat there, and he said not enough gas. The setup was underfueled.
Yeah. I know. I suspected the setup might be underfueled. However, how did nobody notice before lap 30? I don't understand.
That is a good question there, Adam. And anybody else in the chat. As these two are still going for it too for now, and they're going to get themselves a nice top 10 position here as well too. I believe, no, the other drivers might have crossed the line, so might just be, top, that's 10 there for Arturo. And Robert, Frankie's still out now. Frankie's not going to make it, mate. They'll have to park that one. And there's Adam. Actually, Adam's retired from the session as well too. How's that? From the last lap, essentially, of the race, comfortable lead. Only one small problem: gasoline. You need it.
Yeah, you do. I have a feeling that we're going to hear more about this at the end. I'm monitoring the chat in the Discord at the moment just to see what everybody's saying because that was a weird one. The race, but one more thing just before I get to the results. One more thing I noticed in this official schedule here was that this was meant to be a 30-lap race, as far as I can tell. Both the announcement schedule at the start of the season said that, and the announcement at the start of today that was posted about 12 hours ago or so, both said this would be a 30-lap feature race. The setup was clearly made for that. I suspect we might hear more about that in the coming days. But anyway, so head across the line first, Ed Isidro and Fitzsimmons, who remarkably got the podium in the end. Perret up to 4th, Gareth McAllister in the top 5, Ed Julian Midori, Jason Meyer 7th, and Leo Delmar, who only one of the only drivers to finish where he was running in the race, pretty much. JJ Williams in 9th. Elliot Cook creeped over the line. Ashara Mayorga and Robert Nobles got to the finish. Of those who ran out of fuel on the last lap, Adam Merchant, Noddy Emil, Frankie Brzezowski, Matthew Devine and Xavier Zanet all running out of fuel towards the end. Austin Thomas retired early, as did AJ Brenner, James Turnbull, Anthony Zeit, Shea Buffett and Bryce Benton. What a weird end to that race. That was odd. As I mentioned before, this is a fixed setup series. This race was advertised at 30 laps. I suspect the setup was made to be a 30-lap race, hence why it was underfueled. And nobody seemed to realise, because it's not a factor of fuel in these races, nobody seemed to really realise until that run to the end.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the gap there. That was a nice battle, of course, brewing in the background there that we saw between Elliot and Noddy. And then that just completely sublighted when literally the cars had no gasoline, and you can see that this is actually been running at full speed, but it's not going to be running at full speed there because Adam, of course, runs out of speed completely. That's going to be interesting, and as you said, going to be talking point, isn't it, there, Ewan, for upcoming before our next race?
Yeah, I suspect that there will be some talking about that. Whether we will go back to those, there's going to be a whole big discussion here because of that thing with 30 laps versus 32 laps that I was mentioning before. But as Nicholas Istro is pointing out in the Discord at the moment as well, it's not quite fair on those who knew that fuel saving was required, and they did make it all 32 laps because that's what they thought the requirements were. So either way, let's have a chat to Adam Merchant, though, who has come to get in the waiting room. We'll bring him in now to get some insight from those on the circuit. Welcome in, Adam, and thanks for coming to chat to us after the race. A very bizarre finish, it must be said, but just explain to us your perspective on those final few laps.
Yeah, really interesting turn of events here. It is a fixed setup race, but we have to add fuel to the iRacing's pre-made fixed setup in order to run the duration of the feature race. And it seemed like we didn't add the appropriate amount of fuel, and certain drivers noticed mid-race and started to fuel save. Myself, I did not until my spotter said I got 2 laps of fuel left and there were 3 to go. So I got on the radio to try to talk to some guys in the race, but really nothing. I couldn't save a lap of fuel in with 2 laps left. So just coasted over. We'll figure out what the league decides to do for the results.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, that there's 2 sides to the story. Both you can certainly see the side of. As neutral sat here, we can certainly see the side of both. So we'll just wait and see what happens with that. But in terms of your own personal performance, I must say I was very impressed with your start to race number 2 to wind back about 32 laps or so, because we all expected you to run rather well in the second race after seeing you win the first race, but I don't think many people would have expected you to be in the lead by turn 3. Just tell us about that second race start.
Yeah, that was a good one. I got a really good phase 1 of my launch. Phase 2 was pretty good as well when I released the second clutch, and then immediately turned on the overtake. There was a gap that opened on the inside, and I had more speed than I think it was Shaji in P1. Somehow on the exit of 1, and somehow got to the inside of the left-hander, and he lifted off, and that was it.
Well, congratulations on that great start and a great drive here today. Nevertheless, even despite what the results may show from the second race, you've at least got 1 race win in the bank, that's for sure. Congratulations on that tonight, Adam, and thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us and clearing a few things up at the end of the race as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry about all the confusion with the setups, but really interesting end to the race. I'm sure y'all had fun.
Very confusing end to the race. I'll certainly say that much. That's for sure. Yeah. Thanks very much. That's Adam Merchant chatting to us at the end here tonight of the League Zero Super Formula Series. Very, very interesting, Biggles. I mean, what the league decides to do about the results, are they going to back time it to lap 30 because that's what the advertised distance was, or are they going to use 32 laps because some of the drivers knew that there wasn't enough fuel and they went slower to save the fuel accordingly to make it to the end? That's going to be a very tricky one to unpick for the league after this race, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, as you said, it'd been new with 3 to go. They wouldn't have enough fuel, couldn't save another lap. I'm kind of thinking as well, too, would you have, at that point, risk it and just jump into pit lane and probably drop maybe just inside that top 10? Maybe just inside that top 10, drop all those places and just suffer those consequences or not, or obviously take it to the penalties, take it to the stewards after, because you'll have a bunch of other drivers as well too that'll also be happy to go up to the stewards room and debate that, because we essentially had, give or take about 10 drivers or something like that almost ran out of gas towards the end.
Yeah, exactly, and including...
Noddy just said you can't refuel anyways, I think.
Yeah, you can't refuel.
Well, so, throw that theory out the door then. Absolutely, you got nothing to do.
Yeah, very difficult to do anything. Yeah, it's going to be super difficult after that, is for sure. But we will just have to wait and see on that front. But yeah, certainly a dramatic finish to the race. I mean, the top 3 from that race who were running all the way through, Adam Merchant, Noddy Hill and Elliot Court, all dropping out of those podium places, dropping off the lead lap at the end because they just did not have enough fuel to get all the way around. Frankie Brzezowski as well, another one of the big names to drop out. Matthew Devine as well. It's going to be a very interesting one to see what happens, but Sergi Zahir has come across the line in the lead and might well go in to take the victory post-race. At least that's what the provisional race result says for the moment. That is a provisional race result, but on the circuit he has taken the victory by 7 seconds, which ironically is where he started that race. After finishing in the top 5 in race 1, he finished his first in race 2, and actually that would give him the most points of any driver, I think, here tonight, which would be a great result from him. We will be back next week with all of the results from Fuji and what the stewards indeed decide to do about this race, and indeed with a couple of other exciting races from Road America next week. 8 laps in the sprint race, 24 in the feature on July 24th next week. Very much hope you can join us then. For now, I've been Neil alongside Team Biggles, until we see you in a week's time at Road America. It's goodbye for now.